far beyond Neptune, farther even than the orbit of Pluto. Far beyond Neptune, farther even than the orbit of Pluto. There is a region of space so cold that sunlight is only a faint point of light in the darkness. It is the outer edge of the solar system, where billions of ancient icy rocks silently drift in silence. But within that darkness, there may exist a giant world that humanity has never seen. It does not shine. It does not easily appear in telescopes. It moves so slowly that among millions of background stars, it could be overlooked for many decades. But if it truly exists, its gravity may have been silently controlling distant objects at the frontier of the solar system for billions of years. Scientists call it Planet 9, the ninth planet. But this is not a confirmed planet. There is no clear photograph yet. No spacecraft has flown past it. There is not yet a definite point of light for humanity to declare that it is there. All we have are traces, strange orbits, distant icy bodies that do not move in the way scientists expected, like in a snow-covered forest. You have not seen the giant beast. But you have not seen the giant beast, but you have seen its footprints, and the question that has made astronomers debate for many years is whether those footprints really belong to a mysterious planet or are simply a trick caused by incomplete data. To understand this mystery, we must leave the familiar region of the solar system. Near the Sun are the rocky planets, Mercury, Venus, Earth, and Mars. Farther out are the giants Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune. For a long time, humans thought that this was almost the entire kingdom of the Sun. But beyond Neptune, the solar system does not end. It opens into a vast icy region called the Kuiper Belt, where Pluto, Eris, Make, Haumea, and countless small celestial bodies left over from the formation of the solar system reside. The Kuiper Belt is like the ancient graveyard of the solar system, preserving primitive fragments from 4.6 billion years ago. But it is precisely in that cold, dark region that astronomers discovered something unusual. Some distant objects do not have randomly distributed orbits as predicted. They seem to be pulled into a strange arrangement. The directions of their orbits show signs of clustering, and their inclinations are also unusual, and this led scientists to propose a bold hypothesis. Could there be a very large, very distant object using its gravity to herd these small bodies? One of the most prominent clues is Sedna, a body discovered in 2003. Sedna has an extremely elongated orbit. It travels far into the darkness and then returns closer to the Sun. But even at its closest point, it is still too far away to be strongly affected by Neptune. In other words, Sedna is like an object that has been pulled away from the normal sphere of influence of the giant planets. If Neptune cannot explain that strange orbit, then what did? After Sedna, scientists continue to discover other distant objects with unusual orbits. They are like silent witnesses at the edge of the solar system. They make no sound, they send no signals, but their paths tell a frightening story. There may be an invisible gravitational force acting on them. And if that gravity comes from a planet, then it must be a world several times larger than Earth. In 2016, two scientists, Konstantin Batygin and Mike Brown at Caltech, proposed a shocking hypothesis. There may exist a large planet far beyond Neptune. According to computational models, this planet may have a mass about 5 to 10 times that of Earth. It is not as large as Jupiter, but not as small as Pluto. It may be a super-Earth or a mini-Neptune. A type of planet very common in other star systems, but strangely absent from our solar systems. If Planet 9 truly exists, it would not orbit the Sun in 1 year like Earth. It would also not be like Neptune, which takes about 165 years to complete one orbit. A year on Planet 9 could last from 10,000 to 20,000 Earth years. Imagine that while that planet completes one orbit around the Sun, humanity on Earth could have gone from hunting and gathering to building pyramids, inventing the steam engine, landing on the moon, and reaching out into space. To us, human history is very long, but to Planet 9, all of it may be only a very small part of one lonely year. So why has such a large planet not been seen? The answer lies in distance. Planets do not emit their own light. They only reflect sunlight. The farther they are from the Sun, the less light they receive. The farther they are from Earth, the weaker the reflected light returning to telescopes becomes. If Planet 9 lies in the extreme outer region, It may only be a faint point of light in a giant sea of stars. Not only that, because its orbit is so wide, it moves extremely slowly. Finding it is like finding a moving grain of dust in a picture full of noise. Finding it is like finding a moving grain of dust in a picture full of noise. And that grain of dust may move only slightly after many months of observation. But this hypothesis is not accepted by all scientists. Some people believe that the clustering of the orbits may not be caused by a mysterious planet, but by observational bias. Simply put, we have not yet observed the entire sky with the same depth and the same accuracy. Telescopes on Earth are limited by weather, location, observing seasons, and the brightness of the sky. Background. Perhaps we only detect objects in certain regions, and then imagine that they are clustering in an unusual way. If that is true, Planet 9 may only be a shadow created by incomplete data. This is what makes the story tense. One side believes that the strange orbits are signs of an undiscovered planet. The other side believes that it may only be a bias in the way we observe, and the truth still lies out there. There, in the cold, dark region, where every new discovery may strengthen the hypothesis or cause it to collapse completely. But let us assume that Planet 9 truly exists. Where did it come from? It may have formed together with the solar system near the region of Uranus or Neptune today. When the solar system was young, everything was far from peaceful. Young planets pulled on one another with gravity. Matter collided violently, celestial bodies were thrown everywhere. Matter collided violently, celestial bodies were thrown everywhere. A planet with a mass several times that of Earth may have been pushed far away by the giant planets, but instead of being completely ejected from the solar system, it remained bound to the sun in a gigantic orbit. From then on, it remained bound to the sun in a gigantic orbit. It became an exiled planet, living at the dark edge of the kingdom of the sun. But there is another, even more mysterious possibility. Planet 9 may not have been born in the solar system. It may be a wandering planet captured by the sun from another star system. When the sun was young, it may once have been part of a crowded star cluster where many stars formed close together. In that chaotic environment, planets could have been thrown out of their parent systems and drifted through space. If such a world passed close enough, the sun might have captured it. If this scenario is correct, Planet 9 is not only a distant planet, it may be an outsider, a world from somewhere else in the galaxy. If one day we truly find it, the solar system will have to be rewritten. Since 2006, Pluto has no longer been classified as a major planet and the solar system has had only 8 planets. But Planet 9, if confirmed, would not be like Pluto. It may have several times the mass of Earth, large enough to dominate its orbital region. It would be a true member of the planetary family. But the member hidden the longest, the coldest, and the loneliest, its existence could also explain a major mystery. Why does our solar system not have a super-Earth, while this type of planet is very common around other stars? If Planet 9 is a super-Earth that was thrown far away, that would mean the solar system once had such a planet, but it was pushed to the dark frontier. In other words, the solar system that we see today may only be the remnants after a period of violent chaos. So would Planet 9 pose a danger to Earth? The answer is no in the direct sense. If it exists, it is too far away to crash into Earth or cause an immediate catastrophe, but its gravity may affect the icy objects in the outer solar system. Through millions and billions of years, it may alter the orbits of some small celestial bodies, even contributing to pushing some objects into the inner regions of the solar system in the key form of comets. It is not the end of the world. Form of comets. It is not the end of the world, but it may be an important link in the vast gravitational network that is quietly operating around us. What is astonishing is that the answer may come in the not-too-distant future. New generation telescopes are scanning the sky wider, deeper, and more accurately. They can detect objects much dimmer than before. If Planet 9 exists, it may be waiting to be discovered in some image. A very faint little point of light, moving slowly among millions of stars. And if one day that point of light is confirmed, it will be one of the greatest planetary discoveries of modern times. Imagine that moment. A group of astronomers is examining data. On the screen, among countless points of light, there is one very faint point that is not stationary. At first, it may be suspected to be image noise, but subsequent observations confirm that it is moving around the sun. It is very far away, it is very large, and it lies near the region that the models predicted. At that moment, a planet that once existed only in equations will step out of the darkness. Humanity will realize that even within our own solar system there is still a giant world. That has been overlooked, but if we do not find it, the story is not meaningless, because the search for Planet 9 will help us understand the Kuiper Belt more deeply, the distant celestial bodies, and the history of the formation of the solar system. Science does not advance only when it finds what it expects. Science also advances when it proves a hypothesis to be wrong, whether Planet 9 is real or not. It has forced us to look again at the frontier of the solar system with greater curiosity than ever before. And perhaps that is the most fascinating thing. The solar system is not a place that has been completely explored. It still has dark regions, unmapped areas, mysteries that have no answers. Out there, beyond Neptune, the icy celestial bodies are still moving along strange orbits. Each orbit is like an arrow pointing toward a dark region that we have not seen clearly. Perhaps there is nothing there at all. Perhaps there is nothing there at all. But perhaps, in the cold darkness, there is a lonely giant planet quietly orbiting the sun in a year longer than the entire history of human civilization. A world that does not need to appear before our eyes, but may already have left its signature. Through gravity, and until humanity sees it, Planet 9 will remain one of the greatest mysteries of the solar system. A planet not yet discovered, but one that may have quietly shaped the final frontier of our friend, cosmic home. If you enjoy fascinating science stories like this, please press like on the video, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you do not miss the next journeys of discovery. Thank you for watching and see you again in the next video.